Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy show. Today we have a fantastic guest, Joy Wayne from Palm Beach. She has a matchmaking service company. Is it called What is it called exactly?
Palm Beach Introduction.
Palm Beach Introductions. And what do you consider matchmaker to the stars, or what do you?
We have some stars, CEOs, executives.
So this is going.
Successful gentlemen.
Okay, this is going to be a fun show because Gavi and I are going to fire a lot of questions
All
at
right,
you.
I'm ready.
We're so curious about this this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So why don't you give us a little background about yourself and your company and what you're doing and how people find you and stuff like that?
All right. Well, years ago, in 1986, I started a national child care placement service. I placed American nannies with families throughout the country. And it started regional in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and people would come in looking for a nanny. I had a lot of widows, widowers, divorcees. They had toddlers, school-age children, and even though I was really placing nannies in their homes, the next year I'd say, I have this widow and I have this widower. Why don't I match them up? And now I'm starting to go to all these weddings, having matches without getting paid for it.
Right.
So
Wow.
I decided at that point that I should start a division of my nanny service, which was called Nannies Plus, and it was called Options. And it started regionally, and then with the advent of the internet, it became national. And I sold both companies after 17 years.
So
I reopened when I moved here.
So you had, I'm assuming, a non-compete for a period
I
of time.
did,
Okay,
yes.
so you had a non-compete for a
Correct.
period of time, and then you were doing whatever, and then you decided. Why did you decide to get back into it?
I moved back here, and once you're a matchmaker, you're always a matchmaker. Every friend that was single or divorced, I know this guy, I'd go out with them. I'm going to introduce you, my next door neighbors, whatever it was. And so I moved down here and started doing something else that I've been doing for years, which was interior design. And I really missed the matchmaking. And I said, this is a whole new territory. I can make it small, make it statewide as opposed to national, and really get to know my clients and do something that I love doing. I love introducing people. There's a tremendous reward when people are satisfied and they find their
Here,
match.
let's just pull this a little closer.
That's-
I do this all the time. You got to pull it a little
Closer?
closer. Yeah.
Okay.
So that you.
What the history of matchmaking?
Yes.
Does it go back to like in the Jewish tradition? It goes back like hundreds of years.
Like
basi-
matchmaker, that.
Yeah, like
Right.
it goes back to Fiddler on the Roof that there was a
Okay.
matchmaker,
Right.
And it's like just revolves. So when you were doing it, like say in 1986, there was no smartphones, internet.
There was nothing.
It was just you.
It
like
was just intuition, connections when they met one another, paperwork, a lot
so
of
now
paperwork.
that's your that's now the new competition of matchmakers, these Match.coms, all these other things. But that's like the generic, like the little.
Well, it's a wonderful and exciting way to meet someone you wouldn't normally meet, but there's a lot of hardship involved. It becomes work.
Right.
You're swiping. You go out with someone. They don't look like their pictures.
Right.
They don't, they're filtered. A lot of the ladies filter their pictures. Their ages aren't accurate. They don't have the background that you'd want, the values you want. So it's a lot of wasted evenings, a lot of valuable time.
Right.
So tell us
Yeah.
the process, because that was one of my questions here. Was how do you know the values that somebody has? So what is your process? I come to you. I want to engage you in your company. So what is the process for me to come? Will you accept anybody?
Well, how do you
or
come to you first?
Yeah.
How does someone find you?
being on the
Ge-
Cutty and
generally
Govy
word-
show?
Word of mouth.
Yes, your show.
Right,
Being
but
on the Cutty
right,
and Govy
right,
show.
well, that's-
We have
I'm gonna be a
400,000.
steady
That's-
person.
No, we have
Well, we're like-
400,000 views a week. You're
yeah,
going
but
to get
we're
out
into
there.
this is how word of mouth. I mean, like something like this is almost close to a word of mouth thing.
Yes,
but that's
yes,
how it
generally
basically
word of mouth.
right.
Yes,
Because they have to feel trust. They need their friend to say she's great. It
right.
works or
You have
something.
to
like-
trust someone. But I
Right.
do. When men call me, if they have any concerns, I do give them the phone numbers of other gentlemen, just so that they feel comfortable with how I work.
Must be. I think men are kind of simple, to be honest with you. So there has to be a
'Cause you're a
difference.
man.
Well, there has to be a
Women will
difference.
say women are
If I
simple.
said to you, "What's a man looking for in a girl generally?" and then what's
Yes.
a woman looking for in a man? Like, I don't know. Like speaking for myself, I'm looking for someone, say, that would be happy, like an upbeat person that looks at a glass half full rather than half empty.
That's great. That's wonderful.
So once you get to that, they're
You
a
want
happy
peace.
person.
You want peace.
I want peace. Then you can go into sense of humor, funny. Then like
Right.
looks has to men are
Of
shallow,
course.
looks and everything. Women, what's their number one thing? Security or like
Not well. It depends on what age.
okay.
When they're younger and in their 30s, they want a baby and they want to be protected and they want security. When someone's in their 60s, they may have gone through a divorce, they may have had a successful career. The security isn't as important sometimes as the companionship. And the women that are only looking for security that are 60 and up, beware of. So, you have to, you spend, the longer you're with someone, the more history that comes about. When you start young, most of those ladies are looking to be protected and secure. But it depends on the age
But
group.
how do you find he wants somebody that's happy? How do you ask
I'm
that?
married.
No, but you're married.
He's
and
not happy.
Wait, I want somebody with borderline personality disorder. Can you find me somebody with that? But how do you fill that out on a form to know if he's happy or the girl's happy? I mean, how do you
I guess
ascertain?
she's asking that
I
question.
interview the ladies. I do a
Oh.
Zoom session with
All right,
them.
so tell us the
Okay,
process.
so what happens is my whole application is password protected because I don't just want anybody filling it in. So the gentleman, I've usually heard something about them. I do a background check on them. They'll fill in the application. The application asks a lot of physicality questions for a man. What hair color you like, what body shape you like.
Wow.
Those sort of questions. What sort of personality? Do you want someone adventuresome? Do you want someone that's, more of a homebody?
Right.
And
But
all
what
of these
happens
sort
if
of
the guy's stone cold ugly and he wants a super gorgeous girl? Do you just say you're playing over the rim here, pal? It's not going to happen, or
I haven't had anyone, fortunately, ugly.
yeah,
I mean,
bad teeth, or you know what I'm
and
saying?
a woman says what she's looking
Okay.
for. She'll say, I don't want overweight, or I want someone with hair, or I want someone at a certain height.
Got it.
So they tell you, but I mean, everybody has redeeming qualities, and some people are looking for personality.
Do you ever
So-
show a picture to a woman and she goes, "He's not for me"? And would you ever say to them, "I just want to let you know, he is worth $300 million and he's super nice"?
Never would I say that. Because if she doesn't like how she looks, she's after him for the wrong reason.
Right.
The first thing you have to look at is someone visually.
Right.
So I get 9 photos of each person. And I spend a lot of time with my men. I generally have dinner with them. I really
That's
get
great.
to know what they want. I generally go to all the men's homes so I can see their lifestyle because that's very
That's
important.
very right. That's great.
impressive.
So you
I
get
go
to
to
see
the
if he's
house.
neat, not
Yes,
neat, like
I know all of that. And then the ladies, whereas
That's
their
great.
application's like probably a page and a half. It's very, very brief. But then I go and I spend time with them and I get to really have an in-depth conversation, know what they want. As far as the ladies are concerned, their application takes them an hour minimum
Right,
to fill
right.
in. It's very lengthy. It goes over their personality traits, their negative qualities, their background, what they're looking for, anything from their favorite flower to their favorite color.
But they're
I
more
mean, it's-
complicated. Like to me, like if
Women are more complicated.
more complicated because if I think that if you're looking for a girl, like a girl that is successful on her own, that's say 60 years old, that has her own money,
Right.
she's independent. She's the type that like you got to look. You could be very very happy with her, great, but someone else that's say working or that's in a they're two different. Maybe what's important to them are two different things. The person that's already independently wealthy, they want someone that they can go away with, trips with, that they have things in common. A girl that's still grinding it out, maybe they want to like finally take life a little easy, and they're looking
That's
for
true. So you have to match them up accordingly.
like for instance, Cutty over
Oh,
here.
let's hear about Cutty.
No, I asked him one of these things. He says he likes a person that's working because he likes time to himself. So he would like a girl that works on Saturdays because he likes Saturdays off.
Play golf.
And what if she wants to play golf too and she goes with her
That's
lady
Sunday.
friends? Okay. Or she plays tennis on Saturdays.
But some guys like a girl
No,
that's
that's good.
working because they feel there's no pressure. Like they have their days to themselves,
Well, you know what? I wouldn't say so much working as someone that's not needy.
not needy. They
That's
can
the right
busy
word,
themselves, charities.
Because there's some women that just want to be with someone all the time.
Yeah.
Where are you going, honey? What are you doing?
Right.
stay away from me. I want to do my own thing.
Right.
So it's more
So
you're
that
needed.
you would get from going out to dinner with them and kind of getting to know
the
them.
men.
The men.
Okay.
The women, I do Zoom sessions.
Okay, but you would get the needy. You're a good judge of character. You can read people. You
Yes.
would get that needy sense. So
And she knows
Tell-
women.
tell
That's
us
easy
about
for
the
her.
money. You're spending a huge amount of upfront time to get all this, on board.
Yes.
I mean, how much? What's your service cost if somebody
Okay.
wants to find you? How do they do that?
It's an annual membership, and the fee for the annual membership is $15,000 for the gentleman. The
And is
women
that
are
paid up
complimentary.
front, or
It's paid up front.
okay?
And I've had men that have gone out on one date, and they've ended up with this woman. It was just a perfect match,
Right.
and they
wow.
have not used my service again. There's others that take 2 times, 5 times, 10 times.
How many times do they get? Like,
Unlimited until they find the right
Oh, you
one.
lose money on
wait, so
me.
you're 15. So wait, you're
I
15,000.
don't think so.
I
Your
think you would.
15,000s like can go for 2 years or
1 year.
1 year.
One
So
year.
15,000.
And if I want to pay it by the month, if I don't have
Then
15,000,
you're not a member.
okay.
It's up front because a
fair.
lot of my men meet someone. I don't want to be a collection agency.
But
A
my
lot of
argument
men-
would be, geez, Joy, you sound like an extremely intelligent, nice person that's very well qualified for this industry, but I need to test drive the car before I buy it.
That's a very good question.
I mean, to give you all my money, 15,000, one shot, maybe I could pay it out over time.
That's not how I work. But what I do is
She's
when-
very firm about
Well,
this.
I am
Govy.
very firm.
Right.
But when I meet someone, I generally bring the applications to their home. So
Okay.
I know exactly what they want. I know the age group they are looking for. I know if they're flexible with that age group. I know the personality they're looking for. I know what they're, exactly what they're looking for, most of the boxes before I meet with them.
Do you have like testimonials that they can call? Like you could say, like you could have a person that says, Joy, call me anytime. You want me to give a good word in because it worked for me?
Yes.
Do you have someone that you could say, call this one
I
if
have
you
many
want?
gentlemen that would do that.
Right.
Yes.
And women don't pay at all. Even what happens if
No.
you're a successful woman and you want to pay?
Yeah, you're
so
a
you can meet a
CEO.
guy.
Just say
City
I'm the wrong service. Many women have asked me.
Don't you
to
need a
sign
stable
up.
of guys?
And you know why I don't do that is that when you have both, it's very easy for me to have you sign up if you were single. Say, I know what he's like.
Right.
And then go somewhere and say, oh, you're perfect for him. Will you sign up with my service? And the women trust me. I can relate to them. I have a really good intuition when it comes to women and what a man will like.
Because you don't want them to go on a date and say that was horrible.
No,
you
I
want them
the
to have a
men
good time.
Like everyone that they're fixed up with.
Right.
So it's easy, and I want the men to have choices. So I have over 400 women that I've accepted, and I reject half.
Right.
So now,
Oh,
let's
so
say
you
let's say
reject half
you
the
d-
people?
Oh yes, I do.
Why do you? So why would I get rejected?
No,
I reject men too.
Okay,
but mainly women because
Okay.
she
I
doesn't.
reject a lot. I reject a lot of women.
And why?
She doesn't wanna
Okay,
throw
I
'em
do
out
a
there.
Zoom
What?
session with them, and they have no personality. They seem sad because
She doesn't
they
want to
just-
waste a guy's time.
I don't. They seem sad. And their husband just passed away, and they're not
Yeah,
over it yet.
They're not ready.
Or a lot of it's personality, but it's also looks. If I feel that they may not be attractive enough for my gentleman to want them, or whatever the reason, or they have 7 pets, cats
Right.
and dogs,
Right.
or whatever it is, or they're not healthy. I have some women that sign up that are not very healthy. There's certain reasons that I may reject them.
Let me ask this question. In my dating life, and I've been single half of my adult life.
And why is that, Dave?
Oh, geez. Do you have 3 hours? I think it's me, but I find that
You think
when
it's
I
you?
Yeah, it's my problem. It's not the lady's problem.
They try
But
to change you.
Yeah, but I think the problem that I have is when somebody is new on the, let's call market, which is a bad word, currently going through a bitter divorce. I don't want to date them. Do you take those kind of people that are, going through the throes of just jumping into the dating pool? And
It depends. It depends on how
They're,
they
like,
are
beat
during the
up a little, and they
interview.
need to
Sometimes,
get-
but some people have been going through it for 7 years. So they're really over it. The divorce is just taking a long
Right.
time. But if
Got
they
it.
have negative energy, I don't want them because it's not fair to the gentleman. So
Right.
there's various reasons why I would reject women or reject men. And I have done that too. I haven't taken a few men on. So
So this is kind of a political show. This is our 125th episode, so we've been doing it for a little while. And we're not going to talk politics today other than this one question. If I were to come to you and I'm a liberal and I say, well, I want to go out with somebody that's, do you ask that question on the
Yes,
format?
it's on every ladies and gentleman's application. How do you feel politically?
It's important today.
Very
I know,
important.
but I mean, that's a scary question to ask.
It's a deal breaker. You might as well. It's a deal
So-
breaker.
some people will write a deal breaker.
Right,
I'm
might
a
as well.
Republican. Others.
Why
you know, it
waste the
depends.
dinner? Why waste your
Right.
time if it's a deal
It's
breaker?
so true.
You know, talking about dinner, my observation now with what you provide and on the Match.com or whatever, I find, because I've been in bars my whole life, that very few women go to bars anymore because they can do this without meeting people at a bar.
Well, it's a candy store online.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with online is I'm going to go out with her tonight, but I've got one tomorrow night, one next night. Some double dip.
Right.
They've
Right.
got 2 or 3 a day.
Right.
And so it's just so many, and they don't know about these people. It's like going out with the blind. You just really don't know unless you do a FaceTime, which I would recommend to anyone that
Right.
does do, internet dating. But you don't know that much.
What I
Well,
don't
I'm a
understand-
lot taller on FaceTime.
Oh, isn't that?
What I don't understand sometimes with women that are at a bar and stuff,
Yes.
like they sometimes go with their girlfriends if they're trying to say meet a guy, and they
Right.
go with 2 or 3 of their friends.
Right.
Where I'm thinking, if you're a pretty girl with a good personality,
Mm-hmm.
if they would go to a restaurant, let's say in Boca Raton, like a New York Prime or an Abe and Louie's or, Cafe Europa in Palm Beach or whatever, and they went to the bar and they sat there by themselves, they're going to be approached by 3 or 4 people, guys. And you could say, I'm just waiting for my girlfriend. She's meeting me here for dinner, even though there is no girlfriend
You
coming.
are 100% right. And ladies,
There is no guy
listen,
coming.
because men might be intimidated if 3 women are sitting there, or there's, they're not going to approach them.
Right.
Or if there's 2 women, but if there's one lady, you're like a free for all.
You're
Men
just-
will come over and just talk to you, and it's
you,
nice.
And when you say I'm waiting for my girlfriend, even though she's not coming,
Right.
then she's still sitting there, and then she makes like she's on the phone. She could say, "Oh, she got a flat tire, she can't come." Do you know what
why
most?
does she have to pretend? Why can't she just say, I
Because
decided
I
to go out
think
for
it-
dinner?
Because that way she could say to the
preconceived
guy,
notions, yeah.
"I'm waiting for," like she could blow him off. Maybe
Right.
she's not interested, and she could just say, "I'm waiting for
Oh, as an excuse.
as an excuse." But
Oh,
then
I
if she
thought you-
likes the guy,
Okay.
she can then say, "Hey, she's not coming." The guy might say,
Right.
"Would you like to have dinner with me, or let me?"
Absolutely.
But all it is just out. And then the guy's thinking, I picked up the girl, when in reality, the girl picked up the guy.
She's waiting.
Right. I don't know why girls go out with the 2 and 3. And it's so much. Just play the game and go
You're
out
so
there.
right.
So I wanted to ask some sexual questions because
All right, I love those
yeah,
sexual
this is the
questions.
best part, about
Okay.
interviewing you. Do you ask? Do you ask how many dates, or does the guy say, "I don't want to go on 8 or 10 dates with a girl before there's some sexual activity"? Is that brought up in your interview process? I know
men
there's
tell more than ladies.
right.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
No,
But men are kind of like, they tell everything. So, yes, men say things like that.
They say things like that. And obviously, you have to fall within the lines of the law, and you can't cross those lines and encourage anything. I mean, obviously, that's a problem.
Right.
How do you represent that to a woman that, these guys, you don't want some, Mike Tyson type situation. But how do you represent that these guys, or another question might
you
be,
must do a background check, though.
I do a background
So you
check.
know if they were a
A
felon.
sexual predator, yes.
Yeah,
right.
But,
Right. But you
yes.
do know like their whole background
Yes,
check.
I do on the ladies and the gentlemen.
one of the other complaints that I hear from these various dates that I've had is that guy was cheap. How do you
Okay.
find that out if the guy's cheap?
Okay, so women come back and they'll say, we went out for dinner. I wasn't asked if I wanted bottled water or sparkling water. I
Oh,
wasn't
that's a
asked
big
if I
thing.
wanted coffee or dessert. So
Right.
we know, well, either A, he's a little cheap, or B, he's a little selfish.
Right.
So we know that.
So what is the expectation in terms of, let's quantify it by dollars. My first date with somebody, they don't want to go to the Yard House and have a beer, I guess, right? Or meet at a Starbucks
Well,
coffee.
it's different. You know, it's different
With
with
your-
a matchmaker,
Right.
Because these ladies have been screened. They've spoken to them on the phone. If they speak to them, and they've seen photos of them, they know their whole life history. If they speak to them on the phone and they feel there's no connection, they don't need to go out. And then I give them another name of
And
someone.
Joy's not going to waste her time. For instance, if she's sending a girl out with a guy that's going to be a nice guy, and the guy says, I'm going to take her to a dive bar to see if
She's a regular
she's a
girl.
regular girl. But that Joy didn't set her up to go to a dive. You didn't send
No,
her.
but my gentleman wouldn't take someone to a dive.
Well, sometimes some guys
they're
want to
not
see
testing. They're
right,
not. These type of guys aren't
They're
testing.
done. They don't need to test.
Right.
That's why they have you.
Yes.
The testing is you.
Exactly. They take them out for a nice dinner because dinner. I mean, some people do brunch, but I like dinner because you just relax. At the end of the day, and you can really
Yeah, I
talk.
can have a drink.
How about
exactly.
if you're meeting people and you're getting women to go? I guess it must make a difference if women that have kids.
Right.
Like what age are the kids?
Correct.
Then maybe if there's a kid that has special needs.
Right.
If they have an autistic kid, I guess is that something you would tell a guy that
Yes.
that-
Yeah, how much of
Absolutely.
this? How
like
much,
you could say, hey, by the way, I just want you to know,
Yeah, she
you're-
has an autistic child that's living with her. It's a package deal.
right? Because they
Yes.
should know that going in.
So, how much of this interviewing process do you disclose? You spend countless hours with me, coming to my home and figuring out who I am. How much of that do you disclose to the potential women? Do you tell them?
Well, it's a little different as far as the women and the men go. You had asked me before, why would someone pay $15,000 and just pay it up front without a test drive? And the answer to that question, and that kind of relates to this, is that when I meet the gentleman, I already know a lot about him. We've spent time speaking on the phone for quite some time. Sometimes we do a Zoom session first. Then I go to his house generally or out for dinner, and I will meet with him. I bring him applications for about 5 women, so he gets an idea how lengthy the applications are, the questions that are asked, how the process works. And these women are women he may be very attracted to. I'm not bringing him someone I don't think he's interested in. Generally, the men say, "Oh, I like all 5."
Or
But
they say, I don't
sometimes-
like them, I like you, Joy. What do you do? Right?
Do they ask you when you go to a guy's place and you're interviewing a guy, and you get to see, you can tell what type of guy,
I do get to tell a lot.
like if you went into say Cutty's closet, he likes all his shirts. Black shirts are black shirts, pink shirts are pink shirts, yellow shirt. They're
I
all
like that. He's tidy and he's a perfectionist.
yeah. Do you if you met someone that was OCD, would you tell a woman? I just want you to know he's like an OCD.
No, but I would say he's neat because I've had some gentlemen that say they go back and the woman invites them back to their home on a second date, and I don't see the women's homes. And they go back and they say she's a slob.
Yeah.
It's just there was dog toys all over the house. There was food left in the sink. And this is a neat guy,
Right.
and he's not interested.
Right.
And then I've gone to some men's homes that look the same.
Right.
So they're
right,
a better
they're-
match.
Right.
So what do? You disclose that? The guy's a
I
slob?
do.
You say this
No, I
guy's
say
not
it in a nice way.
He needs a housekeeper?
No, but I've gone to some men's homes that are mansions. They're palatial, and they've had the top designer do it, and they have gorgeous artwork. And then I've gone to other men's homes that they recently got a divorce. They plopped themselves in, West Palm Beach or Boca or Delray. They've bought a simple, nice home in a
right.
golf community, and it's not an interior designer didn't do it, but it's clean and it's
Right.
neat.
It's a
And I
different
tell
lifestyle.
everyone everything. Because a lot of these men are waiting to find their woman to
Right.
move to their home that they're going to,
But
have the rest of their life.
What's interesting with being a matchmaker, say in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
than compared to say up north, is in Florida there's so many different lifestyles. So
Yes,
if you
there are.
if you just took down here in South Florida and someone said, "I live by the ocean," well, that's a lifestyle because you're by the ocean. Then
Right.
there's the ones that are in the golf course communities. That's a whole different life because
Yes, it is.
you're in behind the wall and you're literally living behind the walls of that's your golf course. These are your friends.
It's your compound.
It's your compound.
Right.
And if you have a friend in another compound, you don't just play golf with them so much because you're playing with the people in your compound. And then there's the people that are just out west, their civilization, by.
right.
So there's all different, and then there's the ones that want to live in Brickell, like, downtown in a city type of, or South
Right,
Beach.
Right.
So I guess
Well, geographics play into it. Like I have a man that just signed up, and he lives on a yacht in West Palm Beach, and and he doesn't even have a car, so he walks everywhere, and he has a crew,
Uber,
and
Uber.
he wants someone that lives close to him. He wants someone in Palm Beach.
how important is that though? Like if a guy says to you, "Listen, I don't want to drive 40."
Miami.
That's
Yeah.
important.
That's like should be
That's-
like
Yeah.
That's very
what's
important.
what is the miles that like you think a guy like
Well,
says
you
that's
know,
it?
I ask everyone, will they relocate? So if I have a gorgeous,
Guys
intelligent,
too, both like
both ways. Generally, the women are
Right.
more keen on doing that. But let's say they live in Fort Lauderdale and the guy lives in Jupiter. He doesn't want to drive there all
Right,
the time.
that's
But if
right.
the woman says she wants to move there, then generally they might meet halfway the first time, or the gentleman will drive there. He'll make an effort. But he knows that she'll want to move. So then
where they
go
can
on
meet
one-
in the middle, or they can
Correct.
buy in
They
Palm
go
Beach
on
or
one
West
date
Palm.
and they see if it's worth, if the geographics aren't challenging enough that they can make this work.
Guys will drive pretty far for that.
They
first,
will for someone
for the
that's
first couple
extraordinary.
dates. They'll
I
drive
know
pretty
For
somebody
far.
someone
that's
that's
just-
extraordinary.
Right.
A friend of mine, he's a young man. He just drove from he's in the Hamptons. He drove from the Hamptons to New York City to meet a girl for coffee, for a first
do
date.
that.
Well, I know someone here that met a girl in Naples and is going across Alligator Alley until
I just had a man that wanted to sign up from Naples. He had heard about me and he said, I want to sign up. I said, my ladies are not in Naples, but I am expanding.
100
I'm expanding to all of Florida.
hour
So I
and
said-
30 minutes.
I said,
Boom.
in another 6 months, I will have ladies, but I don't have it now.
Right.
He said, no worries, I'll drive there. I'm very reluctant.
Right.
We have a Zoom session next week, but I'm very reluctant because I want to satisfy
It's an
everyone.
easy drive.
It's
Yeah,
still
it's
a
a
long
boring-
drive.
it's a
Well, he can
boring
stay in a
ride.
hotel for a
Right,
weekend
right.
and go out with her
You
3
can.
nights in a row and stay in a hotel. Why not?
So getting back to the sex talk, I mean,
Sex,
do you ask like if a guy has or a woman has sexual proclivities? Do you ask any of that kind
I
of?
don't.
You don't.
I'm not an escort service.
No. I don't mean that. But if a guy wants, well, I mean, just generally, the topic of sex, he wants to know, or the gal wants to know the frequency. I mean, is it somebody that would like to partner up once a month, once a week?
No, I had a gentleman that said to me, I love sex and I love red wine. And I
Okay.
bring my own bottle everywhere I go, so she must drink red wine and she
Interesting.
must like sex. And I said, fine, I will ask everyone. He said, it's very, very important to me. So I did ask all the ladies for him.
But how about
so
what-
if they have specific things, I will ask.
Well,
Right,
the
wow.
reason I ask about proclivity, what happens if a woman says, I'm a bisexual? I mean, do you disclose that?
I haven't had that happen.
No?
But if they said that to me, I don't know. I mean, they'd have to be
It's a good
faithful.
question.
It is a
No,
good
I
question,
think
but they'd
it's-
have to be faithful to the man.
Well, I think it doesn't make as much difference to a guy, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think if you said to a guy, she experimented a couple times with the girl, guys wouldn't care. But a guy, there's no experimenting.
No.
There
are double standards.
It's a double.
there.
It's a like.
There are.
That's a George Costanza thing, right?
There are
Right.
double
There is no. What are some of the bizarre, like crazy dates? Like that? Did someone ever tell you that they went on a date? He took me to the Bahamas, like an exotic date, or is
Yeah,
that?
we went to the
Not the
airport.
first time. No, I had a gentleman from Tennessee that signed up because he was building a home
Right.
in South Florida. And so he said, I'm building it, and I kind of have to choose all my, I have to choose the quartz, I have to choose the flooring, and I'd really like to have my woman now.
Right.
So he signed up for me. The first date, he flew her to Nashville. He put her up at a beautiful suite. He had her go stay
That's
there the
pretty
whole
cool.
weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
And now he's still with her.
Wow.
Right.
Do you get
Wow.
a bonus if they marry the person? I mean,
No, I
then-
don't ask for that.
No?
No,
No, but that's
my
no-
greatest-
that's
a job
word of
well
mouth.
done.
my
That's a
greatest-
job
That's
well
word of
done.
mouth.
Greatest pleasure.
Do you get invited to the wedding?
I usually do.
All right,
I
you
did
don't
when
have
I
to
had my
get-
service
Right,
before.
it's
I'll
And
do
word
your
of
it
mouth.
now.
gift is the introduction,
Yes,
right?
Exactly. It's,
That's
that's the
very
greatest
nice.
pleasure.
So it must be just so different from 1986. Just a dollar difference. Like it's funny. Just going out to dinner in 1986, you could go to a steak dinner, and the steak was like $29, like literally $30 or something. Dates now are or like really like $400 for a dinner.
Well, everything's relative, but it depends. If she has 5 glasses of champagne, yes, it's
Yeah.
$400. But
Right.
if you're just going out and the woman has 1 drink, maybe 2, it's not going to be $400 depending on the restaurant.
No. But it's
So what is a good pace in terms of I meet a girl? How often, would you expect me to date her as the relationship is starting? I mean, what's a good pace?
Well,
I'm always
that's-
challenged by that.
David, that's totally up to how often you want to go out. If you only like going out once a week, fine. But most of the men that sign up to me are looking for committed relationships. Otherwise, they don't need to sign
she
up with a
doesn't right.
matchmaker.
She don't.
But
You don't
but
want to
that's-
supply. You don't want to be the person that's just
No, but
supplying a
that's
guy
a
with
really-
like
yeah.
girls that are
Well-
just he's just a habitual
But that's
dater.
a good question. If
Well,
I
it is
say
a
to
good
you,
question. Well, this is how I do it. So let's say you sign up with me and you go out with this woman and you really like her, and you say, "I'm going to, go out with her once a month." I'm going to say, "I can't keep her on hold this
Yeah,
whole
that's
time.
what I was
I
asking.
have to introduce her to someone else.
Right.
That's not fair." But if you say, "I really like her and I'm going to ask her out next weekend," and if we're both on the same page, I would like you to stop introducing me to anyone else because I don't want her introduced to anyone else. So you're both frozen until you're not
Right.
frozen, and that's how I work it.
I like that. That's good.
What's your What do you think your success to make you feel like you a successful match? Would you say if a guy took out a girl like for a solid month? To me, you did your job. That's a pretty successful. I mean, they might, after time and they get to see that maybe they're not. But like if
Right.
you could get a guy with a girl for a month, I think
Well,
that's real.
depending on how many times they go out. If it's a month and they only go out 4 times, no. But if it's a month and they're speaking every day and they're going
Right.
out often,
That's pretty
yes,
successful.
Yes, but I prefer longer.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but if generally most of these people are looking for connection, they want to go out 2, 3 times, 4 times a week,
Yes.
right?
But-
to build a rapport.
Depending on their schedule,
But
yes.
let me ask you: Do you give advice to men? Like for when I mean by give advice
Oh,
to
yes.
yes, because what I
Really?
mean by
Oh, yes.
I could use a lot of advice.
Yes, men like advice.
okay, but I know they do. But here would be one. Like you know how sometimes a guy meets a girl when they're younger, like in their 20s, and sometimes the father might say to the son, you should go out more times, but you don't want to throw away the one that could be the girl. So let's say you get a person that you get a matchmaker, and the very first girl you introduce them to, like they hit it off a little bit.
Right.
Does he ever say to you, I don't know, I'm a little scared. Everything's perfect, but should I be going out on other
Yes,
dates?
they may say that.
And what
I-
would you
and I
what would
will
you
s-
tell them?
I will say you're welcome to. You have a year membership, and if you want to go out with someone else, fine. But I will introduce her to someone else, and you have a chance of losing her.
But
and she may not be happy if you going out with someone else.
yeah.
Would the girl be mad at you if all of a sudden she says to you, Joy, everything's great. Why did you fix him up with another girl? Because we're doing so well.
I always tell the truth. I'll say because he's nervous. He's getting close to you. He's getting nervous, but he'll go out with someone else. And if he comes back to you, you know it's the real deal. You know it's the real thing. I'm always honest with everyone.
when you
because
then-
I'm representing the men
Right.
as far as making them happy, but these are also my ladies. So I always want. I spoke to a man today, and he spoke to one of my ladies. He really liked her, but there is a significant age difference.
What's the significant?
It's 25 years.
Okay.
And she didn't care about the age group, and she is.
She's
a very,
older, that's why.
and she's a very successful lady,
Right.
so she's not after his money.
Right.
But there was a reason why he's a powerful man, and she
Right.
was very intrigued, and she could hold her own with him. She's a very smart
Right.
lady. And they spoke on the phone, and he really liked her, but then he started thinking about it. He said, one day she's going to be wheeling me around in a wheelchair, and I really am looking for my life partner, and I just think it's wrong. So will you call her and tell her, because I had the best conversation. I was so looking forward to it.
You did the breaking up?
I did it. They never went out, but
Wow.
I get very involved.
Right.
And men will ask me all sorts of questions. One man, I went to his home, and he said, Joy, I really want her to like my home. Do you think she would? And it's a very big house. I said, yes. He said, what do you think about my floors? I said, they don't match the rest of the house. You redecorated, you modeled everything. The floors are wrong.
Right.
So he went to a wood store, showed me, we did a FaceTime, and he showed me all things, which wood do you like? And I picked it out, and now he has a beautiful house.
Right.
But then do you get into these crisis management roles where a girl's calling you and saying,
Yes.
this guy, I
Yes.
can't
I
believe
was
I
gonna ask
really
that
like
question.
them.
I did
So
have a
now
bad
you're almost like a
experience.
marriage
Well,
counselor.
do you
or
also get into
relationship
giving the
coach.
advice where a guy says that you will say to a guy, I know you like her,
You need more
but I
money
want
for
to tell
that.
you, you haven't gone out like she's there's. Do you give him advice? This is what she you're doing something that's bothering her.
Yes,
Do you ever
I will.
and like so that
And
way
I
he's
say things to the women. Sometimes a lady will go out with a man. Well, I had one situation. She went out with a man for 2 full months, and she called me up. She said, I never got any flowers. I said, he doesn't have to buy you flowers. I like courtship. So I said, well, if you want flowers and you think that's important, because not everybody does,
Yeah, I
then
don't
you
do
have to
that.
tell him. Yeah, I don't do.
Do you tell him that? Would you tell him? By the way, she likes.
No, I said you tell him. That's you.
Okay.
You need to tell him that that's important.
But would
that
you ever
need
tell
that.
a guy-
I told her, if he acts like he really cares and he's taking you out all the time, what's it so important that you have flowers?
Well,
That's what I
Govy
said
buys
to
the
her.
flowers at the cigar shop when the guy comes walking through
No,
on
I do something
Sundays
better.
at the football. I saw you buy them.
No.
Oh, you did?
It was Sunday at the end of the day, and he knew they were $25 a dozen, but he knew the guy was stuck with them. It was the end
He
of the day.
He
So I
negotiated
said,
it, and it
"Offer him
was just
$12."
it was just a game for us to get the flowers as cheap as, and then I had to do something with them, so I came home with the flowers. But what
Was
I
your
do-
wife happy?
No, what I do is she takes a flower course at the Boca Raton Resort. So for this thing, you build your own vase, and that way it's really nice. She's talented, and there's our flowers. She makes her own
Oh,
flowers.
that's so nice.
But
But
it's
I think-
expensive
but
to
I-
take the course.
But I
It's
think
$100.
I think where it's great is you give advice that someone you could be able to say, hey, she really likes you, but this is something maybe you do that
But I could
that
see
bothers her.
I could see her phone ringing off the hook. If you have 50 people out
does
there,
ring off the hook.
and oh my God, he's a half hour late. What's his? Do they do that? They're calling you.
I haven't had anyone say someone was late, but I had someone that went out for 4 months, and they had planned trips together. They had met each other's children.
They stop calling.
And then all of a sudden, he told her it was over at 11:30 at night. And so she called me at 11:45
Crying
at
and
night,
stuff.
crying, and I had to get involved, and I had to call him the next
Oh,
day.
Well, you're attached.
God.
You're
Oh,
attached in a way
God.
because
I am.
they want to know. Like all of a sudden, it's like you're the first person to call. Like,
Well, because you become their dear friend, because you're intimate in this
Wow.
relationship as far as their girlfriends. I know this gentleman better than their girlfriends that don't know them.
Are you reluctant to recommend him now because he did that at 11:30 at night on the
No,
phone?
Everybody has their own movie going on.
do you?
And I hear her movie, I hear his movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one to judge. I just want a problem solved.
Right. Oh, that's
Okay,
great.
when you say the
Great
problem
policy.
solved, do you ever try to patch it up? Like, say the guy.
Yes, I did try to patch
Oh
it up.
But
my
say the
God.
guy says
I
to
did try.
you,
15,000
I
is
don't.
not
I'm
enough.
like he breaks. up-
Raising the
You
50.
should get 25,000.
I'm going off to
You should,
25.
you should have add-ons.
Well, because I'm
15
just
for
saying,
the
say,
intro. If
say,
I have to get
say
involved,
they
it's
don't.
another
If they
5.
break up after like 3 months, does the girl ever say to you, "Can you talk to him?"
Yes.
And then if you talk to him, and he says, "Okay, I'll give it another," like then you're like you saved. You maybe
Yes, I
saved
do
it.
get involved very intimately.
Does the girl ever break up with the guy, and then you talk to the girl and say like,
I've
"Look,
had girls break up with the guys over silly things or over major things. Yes, and I do get involved because sometimes it could have worked out, and it's just communication.
Right.
And so I'm a sounding board.
right."
So this guy that went out with this gal for 4 months, does he get another introduction?
Absolutely.
Oh, he
It's a
does.
whole year.
Anytime.
He could be.
Anytime.
You want to go out with 30 people in a year? It's unlimited.
Well, I
What is
wanted to ask that question. Let's say I engage your service,
you
and
should
I,
go on it.
What?
You should go on this.
I engage your.
David, you would be very happy.
You would
You
be.
would have marriage number 4.
Well, between the two of us, we're at 6 right here. So I mean, you're talking to 2 guys that are a mess. But let's say I engage you and I go out with a gal. Let's say her name is Sally, and I say I like Sally, but can you give me somebody else? And you give me Mary, and I go out with her, and then I say, "Well, I like Mary too. Can you give me how many people?
Absolutely. There's no
You'll let
stopping.
me go out with as
Yes,
many."
yes, as long as I feel that the match is appropriate. I'm not going to set you up with someone I think you're not going to like. I think it has to be an appropriate match. I'm going to keep doing it, and the bottom line is your choice. It's not mine. I present you with everyone that matches up to you. You choose which one you want to
Well,
go
do you
out
ever?
with.
Let me just
Go
ask
on.
this because she was just saying that we have a million questions. You're gonna have to
Okay,
come back
go
for a
ahead.
second show. Do you ever? I'm 68 and I'm looking at a girl 32. Do you ever just say, "Yo, dude, come on, you
No,
really
I
need to
don't,
go
and
to
I'll-
your
and I'll-
age thing"?
No, and I'll tell you why. There are women that like
Older
an
men.
older soul. They like maybe, something happened in their relationship with their father, and they want a powerful man. They want a supportive man. They want a father figure.
They want someone more
and they're
mature.
genuine. Some of
Right.
these girls are genuine, and that's what they want.
Okay, one more
Then the
question.
issue
Then
with
it's
Bill
your turn.
Belichick's
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
But-
Do you ever fire somebody? Like they do a couple relationships and they're grief and headaches for you.
Or they did
Do you
something
ever
across
just
the
say
line.
to them,
Well,
"You're fired.
ladies,
I can't.
if
I'll
a-
give you half your money back.
No.
It's only half a year."
No, I haven't fired anyone. I did have a situation.
Because you haven't met somebody like me.
Well, no. I haven't. No, I screened them beforehand.
my question is
but
sim-
I did. I will say something. I did have a situation where a man would call on my ladies late at night.
Yeah, that's
because he was
bad.
traveling to Europe a lot, so the
Right.
time difference was bad, and he always had a few drinks.
Right.
Oy.
And they'd all get off the phone and say to me, "You sound drunk." I'd hear that every time. "He sounds drunk."
Yeah.
So I'd have to tell him,
He's
"You
in
have
Europe.
to call these at different time, and you can't have a drink. And how much do you drink?"
Right, because
I did have to ask
listen,
that,
it's
'cause
10 o'clock.
I
It
didn't
could be
hear
11
it once.
o'clock.
I
in the-
heard it 3 times
Right.
from different ladies.
Since you have the guy as your client, generally,
Yes.
he's the one paying.
He is.
And
my
let's
client.
say he says, and he's a great guy, and he's starting new, and he doesn't want to just go on the first date right away. He says, "Okay, Joy, hook me up with like 3 different girls. I want to go out on 3 like dates or so."
I will do that.
Right now, does the girl ever say to you, like the first date, everything went perfect? She calls you up and says, "Joy, thank you. He is wonderful," and then she says to me, "He's dating other people like that. You hooked him up."
She
Does
would
that
already,
bo-
she would already know that. I would say he wants to be introduced to 3. My
Do they get mad at you? Like,
no,
why
my
are you doing?
preference, and I always tell all the gentlemen, I like to do 1 introduction at a time, so you can nurture that relationship until you don't. And there's plenty of ladies here, and that's what I advise. But they may go out with someone, and this happens. They say, "I really like her, but I can't put my finger on it. There's something that's not perfect.
Right.
I want to go out with someone else," and I'll do it. But I'll say to the other lady, went out with someone. He still wants to see her, but I want you to be aware of that.
See, the trick is she's vetting everybody and she's a matchmaker. So generally, if she's putting 2 people together, you're making it based
Yes.
upon your expert knowledge
Yes.
that it's going to match, it's going to
That's
work.
what I'm
It's
saying.
Right,
like
otherwise it's a waste of
analytical.
time.
It's
Right.
like
I'm
an
wasting
analytical
my
experience.
time.
Right.
I'm wasting their time, and
It's like an analytical
Correct.
thing in your
Right,
own
David.
process.
so
What?
are you signing up?
Oh, you got
Isn't his age? The easier? It gets easier when you get older because let's
It's
face it.
easy.
There's 3 sides to a story. When someone says, "Oh, I got a divorce," it's like there's 3 sides. It's not like you can't say your husband was a jerk or he was. After a certain point, it's like if you're meeting someone in their 50s or 60s, it's like, okay, we're at our stage now. We got our next 15 years. Let's try to be happy. It's not like you got 30.
Well,
Should
you
be
might have
easier.
you should have 30 years.
No, but
Everybody
it
lives a
the
longer
negative
life.
is
Well,
the
he's
negative
68.
is yeah,
30 years, he's
the
98.
negative.
Okay, he's going to make it.
Right.
The negative
Well,
is
that
when
is-
you're 68, you have a lot of baggage. Now, your baggage may be Louis Vuitton, but it's still baggage,
Well,
right?
No, I think your
Well,
You have
baggage is
ex-wives,
less.
you have
Well,
kids.
less.
well, you have baggage, but you also have knowledge and you have experience, and
Right.
that accounts for a lot because you know what you want. You hopefully know what you don't want.
And you say it
And-
more.
and- yeah, and you're a little more selective.
So, what I want is a 3-day-a-week relationship. And, if I'm in a
Some
relationship,
women want that too.
That's what he wants.
do you disclose that? And I say,
Yes,
look,
I
I
have
don't
women
need.
that say, I
but-
have my own stuff going on. I've got my children. I have things going on. I like going out with my
You should sign
girlfriends,
up.
And I want 3 days a week. I know if men and women want to sleep in different bedrooms.
Right.
I know.
You know all that.
Because it's healthier.
But
I've
I
been reading a
thought
lot about that.
I thought
I
most
love that, by
women-
the way.
So you do that with your wife?
No, I start off in
Right,
our
you watch
bed.
TV, you cuddle, you do.
Then like if all of a sudden
stays
I
up
only get
very
3
late.
hours sleep a night, so I get up, I go into another room, watch TV, and then come back. But it's like I just don't want to watch TV in the room with her if she's sleeping. I don't want
Good,
to.
so you're
How about your
respectful.
dog? Does it sleep in your bed?
No, on the floor.
Is
Well,
that a
it did used
question
to.
you would ask?
I would ask that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Sleeps on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. I
He
mean,
likes 3 days a week. He wants it to be like 3 days a week. He's solid. He would be the greatest guy.
Yeah.
But then he
But
feels
everybody
a little
wants
like
more
People
than
of
that.
this age want to live in their own residences, but they want it close.
Right.
Or you know, it depends.
So
on what
that's-
someone wants.
that's
Or you buy a
established
big
up
hou-
front.
Or you buy a big house, David. So you have one wing and she has the other one.
So that's established up front.
Yes, yes. I have all sorts of things. I have men that say to me, they're a little older, and they say, doctors, I've worked my whole life, and I have a sick son, and he's not well. I had this
Right.
recently. And I will support a woman if she needs that, because I will want her to stop working,
Right.
because I want to play at this stage of my life. And if
Well,
she
who's
has
not
to
going to
work,
sign up for
but-
that?
Right.
but if I pass away, I don't want to leave her anything, because I need to leave it to my son.
Okay.
And I say, okay, it's good that I know, so I can mention that.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't she have to get something? She gave up a little bit of her life.
Well, I speak to
career,
some, but there
money's
are,
coming
there,
in.
But there are women that are self-sufficient and don't need that, and
But
they
if she
just
gave
want
up
a
her
nice
job,
guy.
but what happens if she
But
gave up a job?
Maybe she had savings. So everything's when you go
It's
to
negotiable.
a matchmaker, everything's discussed. So
Right.
all these problems that you may have in the future are
out-
discussed.
Up front.
So I have a business question for you. I mean, at what point, like a country club, they say, I'll only take 300 members, or an MDVIP, I can only have 500 to do the VIP service.
Right.
Do you have a limit in your world?
No,
that
right now I'm a boutique concierge service, and I'm doing this myself
Mm-hmm.
because I did it for 17 years, and then I've done it for 1 year here. So I'm on my 18th year. But when I had my large business that I sold, I had 15 employees and 52
Oy.
recruiters, because it was nationwide.
Wow.
It's small now. If it grows, I would have someone doing the menial work, the background
Right.
checks, the things like that. But I will always meet with my gentlemen and always do the Zoom sessions, because I learn a lot from speaking to those ladies.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Their
how you get to know 'em.
personalities. So that's what I would do. Correct.
So, Gavi, Joy Wayne, Palm Beach introduction, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay, I got it right. Do we have? Do you want to say anything, Joy, about your company?
Just that I service New York and Palm Beach and all of Florida now. And the reason I started in New York as well is I found summer times, from end of April through the end of October, the men all left.
Right.
And so a lot of them went to New York, and I'm very familiar with New York. I lived there for 10 years.
How much easier is it, though, being in the city that, like, there's just so many women and so many, like, guys. Like, there's so many places to go. Here, it's kind of,
Well,
everybody.
But that's good, because I know background information. I mean, it's one thing for me to receive an application, but I hear things, I know the players. So it's really good.
So, Gavi, this is maybe our 125th show. I think this is our best show.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
so
the
sweet.
information that we're
I
getting.
do-
We want another show.
I
We
do-
have all these questions. I have a whole page of them.
I do think
good.
that if you're good at
We're out
being
of
a
time now.
matchmaker,
Yes.
you would be good at, like, okay, can you get me a nanny? And you could, like, have a whole service say, yes, I need a.
Well,
They go together.
Getting a nan, it's really finding the right person for the right person.
The nanny makes
And
them
that's-
happy. It makes
well, that's
it.
what it is. It's all about introductions.
It's crazy right now, the nanny game.
Yeah, they say
in
it's
Palm
very-
Beach.
yes.
It is.
How much does a nanny make? $100,000?
They're trying to steal nannies. If you're walking down the street, a nanny's
years
walking
for
down
me.
the street with a little kid, there are people asking the nanny, how much do you make? And they'll, like, double the salary because
Sure.
they're making a fortune. The men, they just need their wife to be happy. And you're coming from New York, the pool down here is a lot smaller. And a lot of New Yorkers are like,
Well, there's services too.
Right.
And there's services. And they recruit from all over. They
Right.
recruit from everywhere in the country. So
there's a shortage down here, though.
So, how can people find you? Palm Beach Introduction, and there's a great website. I was
have a
on it.
website. I'm
It
on
shows some
Facebook.
pictures. There's some
Yes.
pictures. Yeah.
I'm on Facebook under Palm Beach Introduction. I have an Instagram page, Palm Beach Introduction.
And now you're going to have
And they
about
can call
10,000,
me.
20,000
It's a great name.
followers after today.
I like the name
Great.
Palm Beach Introduction.
I think it's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Well,
having
thank
me.
you for
That was
coming
great.
in
so
That was
tonight.
great.
You know,
You should join us.
well, with a short-term loan from you, I'd be happy
Well,
to.
well, listen, 3 days a week. I mean, like that's
Well, now
that's,
she
A
now,
lot of ladies like that. I
Right.
mean, that's the perfect situation, really.
Right.
When they're older.
But she told me
when
I
the kids
need a
are grown and
mansion,
they're older,
and-
not
Right.
young
No,
girls.
no,
but-
not younger, but when
yeah,
they're older,
right,
it's like
at
3 days
your
a week.
stage,
can I
yeah.
borrow your mansion, Govy? I
No,
mean,
I don't have you. He said to me immediately he would need another wing. You know, he wants to like.
right. You know, so you have space, right? That's
That's
so.
good.
Growing up, I always had these very large homes, and you know, even though I did, my marriage has never lasted. You know, you had
You
different.
had your man cave and she had her glam room.
Yeah,
It
you know, I
doesn't
always had a
work.
nice garage that I could, you know, with the thing above that you had the TVs and you could smoke cigars and everything.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
nice.
fun. But anyway, Joy, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And I'm really happy this week we didn't talk politics. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it gives us a week. He's going away on vacation in 2 weeks, so it'll be giving me a nice break that I don't have to fight with him for an hour on a show.
Oh, is that what happens? The
Yeah,
two of
we
you?
argue all
I
the
got
time.
talked in.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to St. Bart's actually for my brother's birthday, but
lovely.
there's a little hurricane going on there, and we're leaving this weather. So it's like I'm leaving. I have to take 2 planes, get to a place. Like it's different leaving from Florida than it is from up
Right,
north.
Right.
But I gotta hopefully this.
you
hurricane-
you
don't
ever
have to-
flown into St. Bart's before?
No, I have.
It's like this.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
the
going
plane.
from Puerto Rico, then Puerto Rico in there.
Oh, then that's different. I think.
So-
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Okay.
The one
Are
time
we still in the air or we're off?
I'm leaving
Yeah,
St.
we might be on still.
I'm leaving St.
He can
Bart's.
cut it. He can cut. He can cut
And
it.
I'm leaving St. Bart's, and this 30-year-old, you know, those planes are junky planes that you leave. You know, I'm feeling pretty good about my life. You know, I built all these houses, I did all this stuff, and I get in this plane, and the guy is essentially the pilot as you go down the runway to get it off the ground.
No.
And
So what was he doing with his foot?
I'm just joking. I mean, the plane was such a junker, you know, that he had his foot out.
Oh, okay.
So I'm on this plane. I'm feeling pretty good about my life and, you know, my job and everything. And I'm on this plane with this super, super wealthy, powerful guy. And I'm not going to say his name, but I'm saying this plane's going to go down and the obituary is going to say, so-and-so and others perished in the plane crash. And I'm the others. I'm not even going to get mentioned, right? But it was fun. Anyway, Joy, look, 51 minutes. Is that crazy how fast it goes?
went so
This was a
fast.
fun show.
That was great.
Well, folks, thank you for coming in. It was a great show, and we'll see you next week.
See you later.